Be strong.
Oh, all right, guys, we're back. Welcome to Fit Beauty Talk. I'm Sonia Lewis.
And Fit Barbie, and Bree is sick.
Yes, we're missing one today, but it's fine because we get to be with the lovely Jasmine Gonzalez. Hello.
New Olympian.
Yes, girl, you did that. You did that. I'm so proud of you. Well deserved. But before we get into all of that, just kind of introduce yourself to the people. Let them know, how long you've been competing. Just anything you want them to know about.
How you got started.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I got into competing just because I was in the military and I was at a point in life where I was dealing with a lot of different things that weren't the healthiest choices, physically, mentally, just different things I was going through. I was in an abusive relationship. I was also smoking cigarettes and drinking and, just eating whatever. I was in the Marine Corps, so it was a real big party culture and didn't focus on health and fitness at all. I had seen one of my really good drinking buddies from Japan had posted a picture and she was on stage and she did NPC figure. And I was like, whoa, oh crap. I'm like, that's one of the OGs from back in the day. How's she so in shape? I just thought it was great. And I was like leaving Japan and I was like, I want to get into something, different. I'm tired of that lifestyle. And so I got interested into, just the fitness side. I hired a mobility coach, somebody who could teach me how to weight train. It was online. And he wasn't really somebody big in the industry or anything like that, but it was a great start. However, I got into a really bad relationship and that kind of put a halt on that. However, I'm a very tough person where once I sense BS and anything, no matter how low I was feeling throughout that time, I knew how to get out of it. And once I did, I really was like, you know what, I've had this desire to, do what she did. It looked great. It just looked glamorous. I had no other idea about competing other than that one picture I saw of her, anything else. So I went and hired the girl that was at the gym on base that had competed in a couple of figure shows. And she trained me for my first bikini competition, which was March 2017. I had prepped for 3 months. I got 6th place because I didn't know what I was doing, but it was great. And then from there, I understood, I was like, oh, this is cool. There's levels to this. And so I just kept going on. I got a different coach at that point. However, that coach I was only with for about 2 months because found out he was a creep and he was a weirdo. And I was like, I don't want to.
Our stories.
It was a little creep. It was weird. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this. And I had been looking at hiring, Ryan Hinton for a while at that point. But I was in the military going through a divorce and I was not rich. And I saw Ryan. I was like, ah! And this guy was literally a third of what Ryan cost, and no crap I was going to deal with, the creepiness and weirdness and all that stuff. So I got with Ryan. It was July or August 2017, and just a few months later, November 2017, I got my pro card. So I had been competing for 8 months. Only been competing 8 months and got my pro card. And ever since, I went and did my pro debut at Pittsburgh Pro, and then
here you are, an Olympian.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then been competing
I actually remember you when you got your pro card in Miami. I was in the audience. And you had a green suit on with your curly hair. I was like, oh, that girl's stacked. She got a big old booty. I was like, oh, I can match her off season. She's stacked. And you had a little small waist. I was like, oh yeah, she on it. I always liked your frame and your pizzazz, your jazz on, on stage. And I like it because you compete. It don't matter what place you get, you still going. You can be in last call out or third, second call out, and then next week you be in first call out. But that don't never, discourage you. It doesn't seem like, on Instagram or social media, it seems like you always stay positive, because some of them places that you did place, I was like, oh no. I'm like, no, but you carry yourself with such, class, and you stay humble. And I really like that about you. That's why I was like, yeah, we got to bring, Jazz on here to, talk to some of the sisters, brown and,
Right.
black sisters on, to give them some pub. But yeah, that's what I really, liked about you. You always stay positive. You was never negative. You always kept going, Maybe that's that Aquarius in you.
Can do, for instance, like this year, Tampa Pro, everybody was expecting, high hopes for me. Same thing for myself. I had just gotten second place at Wasatch Warrior. I was going to Tampa, and I was like, man, I feel like, deep down, I compare very well to how everybody was like going into the show as the favorite, which was Jen Dory. I'm like, man, I know, like I compare pretty well to her. And so obviously the instance that they call first call outs and I don't hear my name, the first thing I thought about was like, my glutes ain't tight. Don't be tight.
Oh,
like I'm like touching my tie-ins, like this is the reason why they didn't call my name. I'm like, so of course you can be upset. However, how I think of it is like immediately I just want to know what I need to do to get better, because there's nothing you can change about what the judges on that table just chose. Like you can be upset for your second, like dang it, but it's like after that I feel like there's no need to waste any negative energy or anything on it when you can't do anything about it at that moment.
That's so true. Like it's in, like I tell people, I say you could do your work, but it's left into the judge's hand. You have no control who they pick, who they like. You just do your best and keep it moving. And that's it. Point, point blank. I'm so glad you got the invite to Olympia. I know you're going to show out. I think you're going to do really well. Even though I want you to have a win going to Olympia, but I think you're going to do really well with some of the girls that they have, chosen to go. So I think you have a real good chance to be one of the top.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you went pro in Miami. Did you take first? Did you take overall?
I took a second place. I've never won a national show, obviously. So I got second place. Never won an overall before either. I only got one first place as an amateur, and that was at a local show right before I did Miami. However, I've never won an overall. I didn't even win first place to get my pro card. But, it doesn't matter, obviously, because
you're an Olympian.
It does not matter. I think I first noticed you. You probably don't remember me from New York Pro. I think that was like my pro debut when I just went pro at the Arnold. There was so many of us. And I remember seeing you, and I thought you were just incredible. I think you went on, and I probably saw you again. You did like a Canadian show, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, you're very up and coming. I've seen you change your physique over the years. And can you tell us a little bit about where you were, why you decided to change your physique, and are you comfortable where you are now, or is still more work to do?
So after NPC Nationals, I was told just to get on, the pro stage right away. And I did at Pittsburgh Pro in May 2018. And one of the first things that was told to me was my lower body was dominant. And that was really apparent at NPC Nationals too. However, didn't realize like how much I really needed to work on that. So, of course, I did Pittsburgh, New York, and Toronto. After Toronto, I pulled out just because of some health stuff I had to take care of. Okay. However, what I needed to do was bring my legs down, and I did a lot of long-distance running, just a lot of treadmill. Like, that's pretty much what I did, and I didn't train legs for a really long time. Like, if people knew, like, what I do, train legs, like any shows these days, I'm like, sometimes I be on social media like, dang, that girl's hip thrusting like 385 in press. I'm hip thrusting the 70-pound curl bar. You know what I'm saying? Things like that I had to like kind of take away. And at first it was really hard because when I first got into competing, I was like obviously like weightlifting, and I was really eager and excited to like get stronger. So at first it was a little hard for me, but they didn't have, the wellness division. So believe it or not, before I actually decided to compete in bikini, Obviously, I said my inspiration was the girl who competed in figure. I was training to do figure at first, till I had seen like other girls in that gym I was at, like doing the bikini posing, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute. I want to do that too." That was 2013, you know, kind of posing. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, I was like, I don't want to go to figure. I don't want to pose like that. That was for me. I didn't want to pose like figure. So I knew as a pro, I had to bring my legs down. And it was, you know, not the easiest thing. However, I was able to accomplish it. I was told that about my legs May 2018. And finally, November 2019, I was told by the Guindies and even Tyler Mannion, like at one of the shows I did in Sacramento, I think it was, after I had done one of the San Antonio shows, he was like, "You bottomed out." And I was like, "What do you mean I bottomed out?" And he was like, "Yeah, your whole half just looks small." I was like,
"Oh, no."
I was like, "There's no way." And so he meant to say that, you know, I looked really flat. You know, obviously, you know, bring muscle down, you know, it's really hard to like bring something down and fill it out. You know, it was just really hard to do that. But we got to that point. It was really nice to go to the Iron Games in November 2019 and get told that I successfully, like, you know, streamlined my legs. I just now need to keep my glutes looking full and popped. And that's been now what I'm working on. And as for like, do I like my physique? I love my physique right now. There was a point in 2019, I had done Pittsburgh Pro, but I was not where I needed to be. I was going through a flare-up with my endometriosis, and I was like 8 pounds heavier on stage. And that's when they announced wellness. And Sandy was like, backstage, I had talked to her. I was like, "What do you think?" And she's like, "We thought you'd be a perfect candidate." And I was like, "Honey," I was like, "I'm 8 pounds heavier right now because of water. So I do look full and thick, but this is not muscle thick. This is water retention thick." So I was like, you know, obviously entertaining the idea for a second. However, I was like, my hips and knees cannot take the training to bring these legs back.
Okay, because my knee hurt.
I'm seeing you, and I'm like, nope. So I'm very happy with where I'm going, you know, with my physique. It is changing little bit by little bit, like over time. The coolest thing to see is, like, I had like posted earlier today, a picture from in the beginning of the year in February, and just to see how much my physique has changed since February, like same weight, same thing, like 8 weeks out in both pictures. And it's just amazing to see, like, you know, what you can do over some short periods of time or even yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome, because bikini is very tricky, very, very tricky. And, you know, some of us are genetically gifted, and some of us have to put in work and change your body and continue to change your body and mess up. And then they're like, "Okay, you have no body, so come back and bring you know, it's so many phases to go through this. It's crazy, but you've been going all 2020, you know. I mean, a lot of us wasn't fortunate to be competing as much as you did, but you held your ground. So inspiring, so motivated. What made you want to just, you know, continue to prep through COVID, you know?
Honestly, I just was eating pretty good to begin with. And also, I just was like, what else would I be doing, you know, at that point in time? I'm like, what? Am I going to wallow in the sorrows of COVID and just go eat some snacks and still feel like shit? Like,
that's real, though.
I might as well, like, at least maintain my body and keep going and keep pushing, because I was, like, sitting there like, yes, there's a pandemic. However, I work at home. I'm going to school at home. Nothing in my life really changed that drastically. Yeah, the only thing was, like, the uncertainty of shows. Yeah. However, I was like, there's going to be a show someday. There's going to be a show someday. I just kept hope that when the shows that open, I'm going to be ready to go and hit it, so I can be one of the ones that, you know, plays as well. While everybody else
created a home gym. Were you able to get to a gym during the COVID? I mean, I know for us, our gym was open, so I don't know where you are. Are you in Texas or California?
California and San Diego. So I started going back to the gym actually in September, which was after I had already, you know, got my points and all of that stuff. So I pretty much just prepped in my garage and in my apartment at one point. So
okay, wow, that's incredible.
Pretty dope, right? I was like, what? Really? I did that shit? Cool. Like, it just goes to show you like what you're able to freaking accomplish. Like, I'm not a person who likes to like pat myself on the back a lot. If anything, I minimize a lot of like my accomplishments because I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like, cool.
You did that, girl. You did that.
What else can I do? What else can I do to be better and be great? You know, if I reach that, there's more to reach, I feel. So when I was able to, like I said, see the picture this morning, that was pretty much pre-COVID to after COVID, what my physique like was able to improve upon being the same weight. And it just blows my mind. So all in a garage gym. And yeah.
That's great. That's amazing. Some people, you know, they just stopped and you kept going. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
I ate my snacks.
Snacks. So I know you were going, and then you I don't know if it was purposely where you stopped at wherever you stopped at your last show, or were you confident that, okay, I'm going to get these points to go to the Olympia, or you're like, you know what, whatever happens, happens.
So at that point, I kind of like did a lot of like, who's competing, who's on the list, and how many shows are left, and kind of did my calculations. And I was like, I feel like I'm in a safe spot. So I pulled out for that reason. I felt like I was a safe spot. Two, mentally, I was done. Like, I was tired of, you know, every week, you know, and there's a point, you know, I deal with endo and my body can only handle like the peak weeks and getting into a show, you know, taking, you know, diuretics and things like that only so many times over amount of time. So it starts to whack out my hormones, my period, my cycle gets more and more intense as it goes. So I had to pull back, or things were going to get pretty serious, because that's what pulled me out of 2019 in that time, that whole flares and stuff. So that's why I pulled, like, to finish. I was like, you know, I feel like I'm in a good spot. I want to give my body a rest. And I was starting school again. So I was like, I'm going to chill. I'm going to chill for a second. Yeah.
I mean, one thing I love about you is that you do compete like Coach K said, but I also love now that, you know, like I always tell people, they're like, well, why'd you stop? I'm like, because my body just kind of stopped responding. There are so many things to fix. And as much as I want to, because as you, my goal was to go to Olympia, but it just did not work out in my favor. And sometimes people, they see you on the outside, like, keep going. But I'm like, my body is like, no. It doesn't matter what you do. We're just going to stay right here. And you have to take a step back. And, you know, I would say health first, you know, health first, or you will not be competing at any show.
Okay, because Olympia always going to be there.
Exactly. So I love that about you. I love to hear that. And I'm glad that other people can see that, because we need to promote that a little bit more. I would love to see a lot of people compete, a lot of women, a lot of Black women, but you also need to know and listen to your body, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
What advice would you have to say to anyone new that's, you know, look at you, or, you know, they want to get into the bikini world or bodybuilding world? What advice would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them to, of course, as everyone says, research, but more so, don't research, like, go with a naive mindset. Like, ask questions, like, ask those legit questions. If you're trying to compete and you already have an inkling that you want to compete, ask things like, what levels are there, you know, things like that. Understand that there are levels to what you're getting into. Then once you understand that there are those levels that you're getting into, you know, align yourself with a coach that's going to take you to that level, because there's so many coaches. And it's okay if you're somebody who says you only want to compete at the local level. That is perfectly fine. And find yourself a good local level coach. However, if you hire yourself a great local level coach, that's only as far as you're going to get. Exactly. And then obviously, don't be blinded by the techniques that any person, coach, posing coach, any kind of person out there, like, sells you. Actually dig and do research, because anybody can have all these, like, you know, nice, glamorous banners and say that they coach this person, this person, this person. But I'm like, can we take this further? Like, did you actually take this person from beginning to where they are now? Not just you adopted them as an athlete, you know, because it happens a lot. It happens a lot in industry. And especially brand new competitors be like, wow, I want to be like that person. Who's their coach? It's like, hold up, that's cool. Great. Ask that question, who's their coach? But then be like, what amateurs did they bring from amateur to that level that you're trying to be.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So if that's something I could tell anybody, biggest thing is that piece there. Look past all the marketing, all the extra trying to pull you in, dig a little deeper.
They will suck you in. We all know they will suck you in.
I see the ads and I sit there like thinking, oh, let me think with the amateur mindset. I'm like, wow, they sold me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh my goodness.
Use all those big fancy words.
Exactly. I'm like, wow, this person really knows what they're saying.
All right. So for the people as well, you are a posing coach. So let us know, how'd you get into that? I mean, I've seen some videos when you started to where you are now, and I think, you know, you're amazing posing coach, and you really do capture our attention when you're on stage. So what made you want to get into that?
Honestly, it was something that just sort of happened over time because I always posed myself. Like, I worked with my suit sponsor, Sean, to get the little details, since I do always need a second eye no matter what or who I am. You always need that.
Yeah.
So, but from the beginning, I was like a giraffe in heels. It was really not the greatest experience because I came from the military marching in boots, and we were told stomp in our heels, and that's not what you do in actual competition heels. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't be stomping around like that. So I used to dance as a kid growing up in high school. And so I was very into the whole, like, making a performance. I did theater. I was in choir. So I'm a very theatrical, like, wow, you give me a moment to shine. I want to make that moment the best moment in any attribute, any way I can. So what I did was I was like, what do I need to do for this specific thing in order to display my best? What are the rules? So I got really into understanding what the rules were, what they wanted to see on the physique. So I was able to apply it for myself and get myself all the way up to my pro card, all the way to, you know, in my rookie year as a pro, getting 4th place at Toronto Pro and different things like that. And my posing started to really improve. And so in like 2018, like towards the middle end, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take on a few clients and people because I felt like, you know, people just needed help in other areas other than just the poses. I found a lot of people knew how to do a pose, but didn't know how to really transition well. There was a lot of things that I felt like I was noticing that I'm like, man, a lot of people are lacking this. So I just felt like I wanted to grasp onto something and just put out there, you know, what I'm able to teach, you know, the attention to detail that I feel that I have with things that I know a lot of people don't have.
Yeah, so you're doing a great job, flourishing.
So what is I know a lot of people want to know what type of look you're going to have for Olympia this year. What color suit? Is it a surprise? Your hair and, you know, so forth.
Much surprise. Like, I wanted to surprise, but I'm like, I'm over like surprising things anymore. You know, at this point, as a pro, I feel like it's not really like that much of a surprise anymore. I was thinking of possibly going with like a very deep, like, or bright red, like, ruby or something, but we're trying it out at a show before the Olympia to make sure, because I love the green, but I've always like wanted to try red. You know, I've never tried one of them.
They said red was not my color, so I just keep trying all the different colors. Okay.
They love green on me, and I'm like, you know what? I love it too. So I'm like, I'm gonna try it at the December 5th show. I'm doing Battle of Texas, so I'm gonna try it there. See what Tyler judges have to say, what they prefer, and then go into Olympia with either the green or the red. You know, that point. But as it for physique. I'm just trying to bring it in a little bit sharper in the glutes. It's something that I've been told consistently this year to like sharpen my glutes. And my last feedback, it was a little off-putting though, because obviously I'm able to dissect feedback, thank God. Because at my last show, they were like, what was it? It was Tamer El-Gindi. He was like, we need some more separation in your glutes to your hamstrings. Like, he used the word separation. He said separation. You know, of course, if I was any competitor, I would have heard separation, you know, that's not a term that aligns with bikini.
Oh, is it striated?
You know, like, what do you, so I just think, you know, maybe a little bit tighter, a little bit more condition in the tie-ins.
Yeah.
And that's really, yeah, I'm trying to bring the conditioning that I brought to NPC Nationals, I guess, you know, shred it.
I think too, sometimes that's why I always say, you know, let your coaches know what the judges say, because sometimes what the judges say and what they actually mean are two different things. Just from the clash when Sandy, I think she said something about my glutes, but I'm like, that's not what she mean. I know what she means. Fill out my glutes. But before I would have thought, oh my God, I need to get leaner, and then I would have just disappeared, and God knows where my body would have went. So I think it's very good to talk to your coach, because I don't know if the judges are coaches, you know, or they're just giving feedback on what they see. So the delivery might not come across. And then you come back, they'll be like, well, that's not what I meant. Well, that's what you said. So I had to get to that point too. I think this year I feel like I'm getting to that point where I understand, okay, like you said, dissecting exactly what they mean when they say something.
Yeah, so you know what to do when you're going into your next show, and I don't show up, you know, looking like I got wellness glutes.
Physique glutes. You said separation.
Separation. I was like, wellness. Okay.
Right. Okay, so you're gonna play with the green or the red. Are you gonna go with the straight hair,
red,
curly hair?
Curly for sure. Yeah. Of course. I came in re. Okay, give me my.
I got the unit already ready. It'll be here next week.
I love the curly hair on you. It gives you a little pizzazz, you know, something
it makes me feel like me. It makes me feel like me. I did this straight at the Wasatch, and it just made me feel just like I performed. I felt more bland, honestly. And then when I threw on that curly hair, I felt like spicy, like that next show. I felt spicy and ready to just do it. So it fits me for sure.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to bring who you are, a little bit of your personality to the stage so you can feel confident. If your makeup or your hair or something is off, it can show in your performance. I believe that.
Yes, definitely.
Well, we
so
are.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Olympia? Like, of course, like, is there going to be a round 1 or round 2? Did they change that? Do you have any details or?
I just think, I don't know, it was changing a couple times earlier in the year. However, I think that the last thing that I remember seeing was that it was just going to be like the same old, like prejudging and finals. Yeah. That's it.
That's awesome.
Of course, the finals is only top 10, top 15, top 10 that they bring back for finals to actually do their whole routine. Everyone else is kind of play.
Yeah, like I guess the Arnold.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm excited.
That's
hoping
great.
So you kind of touched on a little bit that you are going to do a warm-up show before the Olympia. That was going to be my next question. And you decided on, is it San Antonio? What is it? Is it
Battle of Texas? I think it's in like Waco or something in Texas somewhere.
That's one of Freddie's shows.
Yeah, Freddie and
that's
Sheila.
My boy. I've been on Freddie for a long time. Me, him, and Ryan and John, we all used to run together.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like trouble.
We know that yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So you plan to bring a tighter, you'll of course bring a tighter package from then too. How many weeks apart is that from the Olympia?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah, smart. I think that's very smart of you.
Yeah, some good time to like adjust anything if we need to.
Yeah, play with something that you may like, may not like, do colors, do change. But then you have to take in consideration too the lighting for the Olympia, which is in a new place too. So you got a lot to consider as well.
I know.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You made it.
I'm so excited about it. Like, it still hasn't hit me, but I signed my contract yesterday. And
yes.
That's awesome.
That's good because you made it within what, 2 years of competing?
Yeah, as a pro. Yep, competing as a pro.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
That is good.
That's
You're
awesome.
gonna be an Olympian. You are an Olympian. That's
We're
great.
Olympian, yes, we're happy for you. We're not gonna keep you long. I know you gotta get your beauty rest and work out. Any closing words, Sonia?
No, I mean, I was just like, did you have anything else you wanted to share with the people that you felt like was important, or?
Yes, just stay patient with your process and your journey. There are going to be moments where it feels like you're not progressing in the way that you need to. Just take a moment to reflect where you started, not just like appearance wise, but like mentally as well and within your spirit. Something that I have to always, check myself on, especially when you're deep in prep and, the prep brain settles in. And there comes a point where you think you need to get leaner or tighter than you are, and your brain can't process the fact that you're not supposed to. So you start thinking things, take a step back, reflect on the journey that it's taken you to get there, and just, pat yourself on the back a bit to be like, you know what, we've come so far. Let's keep going and just keep pushing through it all.
That's awesome. I love you. We love you. You're a great inspiration and great motivation. I can't wait to see you on that stage. I know your posing is going to be incredible because you're always an entertainer. So, yes. I appreciate you coming and sharing your story. We got to know you a little bit more. Who you are. I hope you continue your journey to the Olympia so we can kind of, see what you're doing, what you're going to do, what you're going to eat, if anything changes. So we want to continue to follow you. It was a pleasure.
Yes.
Pleasure, ladies. I appreciate it.
Well, have a great night.
You too. Bye, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right, so that was Jasmine Gonzalez. She's going to Olympia. What do you think, Coach? Where do you see her?
I see her in the top 10. I see her in the top, especially if she comes with the package that I know that she can, come with. Like they said, just tighter and fuller glutes. Hope she don't, lose her glutes.
Yeah.
And her look is going to be on point. I'm just curious of how the red is going to look on her.
Right.
I think she can pull it off, honestly.
I think if her tan comes in right,
yeah,
she's a little light on stage to me sometimes. So I think if she get that brown color on stage,
the brown color, not the red tan, but the brown tan undertone.
Yeah, the brown. I mean, I think it would be. I would love to see the red with straight hair, but I think
if she do the curly hair, that's gonna be real spicy with the red.
That's gonna be really spicy enchilada. Like,
hello. So I'm really excited to see. I always admired her. Even when she was when she got her pro card, I was like, dang, that girl gonna be
she really did take off a lot of muscle to me from when I first saw her going pro, I think, for Miami to where she is now. But it is always a journey and a process. And bikini was getting to be that soft look. Now they're like the athletic look. It's like every year something changes. You don't know what they want. So I was happy to have her on. She's such a good spirit. And I am excited to see her on the Olympia stage. So we are out, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming.
See y'all next week. I don't know who we're going to have. I don't know.
Oh, we will bring on possibly another Olympian. They may be competing, may not be competing. So we will bring on another Olympian to kind of get their insight as well. We have to, we have to interview these people like after the Olympia too.
After Olympia, and see how how the experience was. I'm sure they'll come back. I know Tasha and Jazz will come back.
Yes. All right. Good night to you, and I'll see you next week.
Yes, ma'am. Bye now.
Bye.